I just remembered now that you told me to remember.
Welcome back, everyone, to Misty Mountain Mondays and Miskatonic Misadventure on Misty Mountain Streaming. I'm the D&D My name is Rob. These are some amazing people, and we're going to play some role-playing games together this evening for our enjoyment and yours. We have some announcements to get through before the beginning of the stream, but first, let us welcome TL Holdren to the chat here right on time. Even though we are not quite. Thank you guys for being patient with us. We had to make sure we got everybody together so we could all play together today, and real life got in the way a little bit, so thank you for your patience. And then let's also greet our friends over to, is it State? I guess it's not Stage Right, is it? It's Screen Right. Over to Screen Right. We'll start with Katie, who has like 1/3 of a Cthulhu in her frame on screen. There's much more of a Cthulhu than that. There he is.
Oh yeah, just introductions, right?
Yeah, just introduction.
Awesome. Hello, you've all seen me before. I'm Katie. I've been playing tabletop roleplay games for a long time. I'm also Ominous Watermelon here on Twitch and elsewhere. I'm playing Hannah Cooper, who used to be Ellie Walker, who knows who she is now. But yeah. That's it.
Awesome.
And Cthulhu.
Thank you, Katie. Let's just keep going around the stream. Mike, hello, welcome back.
Hello, glad to be back. Hi, Mike, Uncle Mike, Dig Squirrel, all those things. Love Cthulhu, love these games. Have really been enjoying this one in particular. I'm playing Travis Cole, a very tall pilot of either incredible luck or incredible skill, depending on who was close enough to be paying attention. But enjoying the game, and I think we're trying to chase somebody down, and maybe we'll catch them tonight.
If your luck holds out. And finally, Brian, welcome back, man.
Hello, I'm the reason why we're a little late today. I'm Brian, and I am playing Brad Xavier. Remember, I'm Brian. Character's Brad. You got to remind Rob of that every now and then.
You do, because I look over here for the names on OBS, and
they're just close enough.
They're right beside each other on the screen, man.
I've been playing tabletop games for as long as I can remember. Mainly more Dungeons & Dragons style games, but it's really nice to play some Cthulhu, get into something a little bit different. I will be using my purple eyeball dice tonight. Because purple eyeballs are awesome. And I also have a brand new, this has nothing to do with Cthulhu, but I have a brand new desk ornament. How is this? This is weird.
He's green, isn't he?
He's green.
He's chroma keyed.
He's supposed to be the Hulk, but apparently this is the Hulk's evil twin. So
that is awesome. I forget you have chroma key on, because there's like, as far as I know, nothing green in your room.
It's not intentional. I just don't have the technical know-how to get rid of it, and it hasn't come up yet.
We will remind me one of these days before the stream, and I think we can work on it for you. But that is
absolutely
the incredibly black Hulk. It's like, it's not even like, it's because of the chroma key. It actually looks like it absorbs all of the light in the room.
Yeah, and its eyes were. Let's see what. Oh, its eyes are actually black, and they turned gray.
So yeah, so that is cool. As black as we can muster compared to chroma key black.
His purple pants are blue. So he's just all over the place.
Awesome. Hey, Dabs is in the chat. What's going on, fam? How you doing, buddy? And again, I am Rob. I have a Cthulhu as well. He's wearing his little Speedo and holding his cocktail glass, and he is resting on my microphone until I shift my weight slightly in this room and topple him.
Nice.
But we will cross that bridge when we come to it. We are back playing Pulp Cthulhu. Our investigators are on the hunt for Alvin Barlow, a self-styled celebrity archaeologist and expeditionary adventurer who is traveling to the Holy Land, to Jerusalem, in search of Solomon's Key. Little bit more about that as we go on, but it is the assumption, and then the founded assumption of this party, that bad things will happen if he finds it first, or if he is permitted to find it at all. And so the object of the evening is to prevent that at all costs. Before we get started, it's at some costs, at
That
moderate
phrase, all
expense.
costs, always makes me uncomfortable as a player.
Maybe like one cost.
Yeah, and there are some costs.
If there's a
that I'm
if there's
willing
a
to
bargain
accept.
going on,
Yeah.
maybe we stop him.
cost.
That's great. Real quick thank yous to Bard Tales, Jesus, and Tibbs. Thank you guys for the follows. Welcome to the channel. We are Misty Mountain Streaming. We like to tell and experience great stories, and our favorite way to do that is by playing tabletop role-playing games like Pulp Cthulhu. If you are familiar with Call of Cthulhu, this is the pulp version, which means that our heroes are more capable and less likely to run away from things immediately. They are more likely to fire a couple of clips at something and then run away. So far, though, they have a great track record of just going ahead and handling their problems. Except for that one time we don't talk about. Hello, Daniel. I see Daniel in the chat. Alright, well, that's most of the gang here. I think that we can get started. Last thing before we do, this is no longer the only 18-plus stream on the channel. But it is the first one. I will keep that claim to fame here. We are all adults. We are playing a intentionally horrific game. And while it is probably more often funny than perhaps objectionable, we have all discussed our levels of comfort, and we are inviting you to participate in, to some extent, and view our game. And we are going to explore the things that we are comfortable exploring, and if you are not comfortable exploring those things, we urge you to view at your own discretion. With that out of the way, we need to have an investigator development phase, because you guys are doing the Pulp Cthulhu version of leveling up when you get 5 minutes to breathe and might possibly be better at things than you were in the previous 5 minutes. So what are people testing themselves for in no particular order?
All right, well, I will start by testing my fast talk, because I did fast talk somebody. I believe it was what's her name again? The one we rescued?
Annabelle?
Oh, Annabelle?
Annabelle.
Annabelle?
I thought it was Annabelle, but I didn't
No,
want to say it
Annabelle
and be
saw
wrong.
you.
Yeah, it's Annabelle.
So I succeeded on that because my fast talk's only 25. What's the amount that I go up by?
You
D10.
roll a D10 and
D10.
whatever the number says. Yes,
Nope.
Holdren, thank you for pointing that out. I updated
don't
everything and didn't click done, so maybe that's updated now.
I don't have a ton of check marks, but I'm going to check them all. If anybody takes theirs to 90 or higher, mention it.
Got it.
Any skills?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Luck
Okay.
doesn't count. Luck's not a skill.
I have several skills.
I
have
will also
6
throw
total.
out.
Nice. I
Look
only
at
have 3.
your magic points. If they're not full, fill them up. If you were looking through that little blue shard in the past, you may have used some magic and then not replenished it, but it should fill
Oh.
back up.
Okay.
Oh, on the subject of 90s, I have a check mark in one that was already 90.
And then we've already dealt with that.
No, I mean I've succeeded at it since it became 90.
So the reason that Mike is having you look at that is because when you pass 90 in a particular skill, you have entered the best in the world, like the peerless category, and you don't get there by accident, right? It takes a lot of dedication and time to be able to pursue some skill to be world class at it. And so when you cross that threshold in a particular skill, you get some free sanity back because of all of the discipline it took to get there.
Okay.
Oh, that's good to know.
If you do have a check mark in a 90 plus and you roll above your current score, you add 1 point.
Right.
not a
We had
D10.
agreed on that before.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
Was I correct
I
about
don't
that, Mike?
expect
Is it
to do it.
90 or is it 95?
Yes.
Okay.
I think 90's the good threshold. I don't know that it matters that much, so let's
And
go
that
with
one-
90.
All right.
Becomes a mute
I
point.
just
'cause failed.
improved my mechanical repair.
Can I ask?
by 7.
It's been a minute since we did this. I just want to make sure I'm doing it right. So if we roll above the current score, then we get to improve it.
That's right. If you roll exactly the current score, as I did just a second ago, you do not get to improve.
The
Okay.
idea
It
is
must be above it.
The idea is
I mean,
there is
below
still
it.
room for improvement, right? If
Yeah.
you roll and fail, then clearly there was something you had to learn.
Right.
So,
I improved my intimidate, so I've
Actually-
become more intimidating.
actually, a very nice little, a very elegant way of doing it. I'm not a big percentile person. Like, if I were to design my own RPG system, I'd probably not do it based on percentile. But if you're going to have a percentile-based system,
Yes.
this is a really good one.
It is.
I like it a lot.
It is.
I failed disguise by 3 points.
Well,
Yay!
Yeah, as long as you fail, it goes up.
Exactly. I know. I was
Okay,
like,
I was
I'm
making
excited
sure you
about
got
that.
the right side of that. Your tone sounded sad.
No, it was
that's
like
just
sarcastically.
Katie. That's how it. That's how it sounds.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's
My
just
persuade
more,
just went up
and I
by
did not
10.
Awesome, Mike. I tease Katie is one of the more upbeat people in my life. So that should tell you how my life is going.
Hey.
Hey, I think you just insulted the both of you in one sentence.
I think I mentioned. I think I
that's
mentioned this
efficiency,
last
Mike.
game.
Buy
Yeah,
one,
I think
get
I
one.
mentioned this last game,
Self-confidence.
but to build on your comment about D100 systems, if you do like this system, this is a book I would definitely recommend. It's called Basic Role Playing, and it uses this sort of a D100 system, but it can be applied to a D&D style world or a superhero world or a horror world.
So on the cover of that book, the top left hand of the art, what is that they're holding? I can tell what the sword, the gun, and the staff are.
Top left hand. That's
It's
a good
either
question.
it's either the hilt of a sword or like a weird potion. It looks like I only saw it for a second.
I thought it was like
It
a
looks like a
blackjack.
roll. It looks like a rolled up scroll,
Okay.
but it's hard to tell, and I don't have my glasses on.
I don't have your glasses on either.
That explains it. All right,
Now I'm
well,
really
I got
curious.
better at psychoanalysis, persuade, and mechanical repair, so not that bad.
I knew he would fall sooner or later. Yeah, I'd say that's a productive time. And remember, when
and
you're
I-
done with this, you get to try and improve your luck, if there's any room for it.
I already checked that while you were doing the introduction, and I got the minimum back, but I still got some back because I'm lucky.
Luck. My luck is pretty high, so I don't expect it to improve much. And with a roll of 28, it ain't going to. It was just 1d10 if you get
Plus
under your
1d10
luck, right?
plus 5.
1d10 plus 5. Ooh, but I got a 10, so it's 15. And the maximum luck is...
99.
I am almost there.
I may be the least lucky person in the party with a very high luck right now. I used a lot not crashing that plane.
And I mean, look, that's luck well spent.
Yeah,
Because if
exactly.
you had to spend
Yeah.
everybody's full amount of
Yeah.
luck to survive, that's just a good deal.
We could be in trouble at that point, especially since you'd be collecting all that luck on your side.
Yes.
I did some improvement to disguise, fast talk, and intimidate. And I failed to improve my other ones that had checks.
You also, I mean, I know she just got it, but there's a couple other things you get to consider that probably don't matter, but I'll mention for anybody who cares about rules. If you wanted to adjust any of our credit ratings, now would be the time to do it if you think something has made any of us richer or poorer. If you wanted to dole out mythos for any good reason, you could, but you don't. It would be weird to. And if you want to remove anybody's manias or paranoias,
Ooh,
now would be the time that we shake them off.
I forgot one more that I succeeded in. Charm.
Right.
And my
Yep. When you're
charm
done,
is
you should
gold.
have no check marks in anything.
Oh, that sucked.
So remove all your check marks.
I improved in charm, but only by 1 point. So I only got slightly more charming.
I got markedly more persuasive is what really came out of that.
I was
got
looking at
slightly
your...
more charming, but markedly more intimidating.
I think I'm fine not changing anything right now as far as all those things. I looked to see how your credit ratings might be affected by traveling to a different currency system. And actually, it looks like in the 1930s, the US dollar was weak compared to the dinar.
Okay.
So something to keep in mind.
Hmm.
Mostly for
I thought
me.
we were in the. Oh, we are in the 30s. I was going to say I thought we were in the 40s, but we're in the 30s.
Yeah.
Doesn't
30s.
Doesn't Dr. Vargas have a better credit rating than Brad the Vagrant?
It's hard to say, man. Those student loans.
What can you do?
Honestly.
Hello, by the way, to Frogs, and congratulations, Frogs, because our benevolent benefactor, TL Holdren, has gifted you a sub. Enjoy those
Nice.
emotes. Enjoy those lack of ads. Thank you for being here. And thank you, Holdren, for continuing to be the sponsor of this stream in many ways.
Little shout out to Frogs, by the way. A very good friend of mine who has finished making a theme song for my stream.
Ooh, very cool.
So,
Will
gotta
you
hear that.
will you sing a little bit of it for us?
Yeah.
It doesn't have any words. It's like a video game, like electronic, like soundtrack kind of
You
thing.
can make
Oh,
some
very
words.
Yeah, well,
Or beatboxing it out.
I'm not. I have many skills. Beatboxing is sadly not one of them.
I will be happy to write lyrics for it if you guys will sing it.
Okay.
Yes,
I'll let you do
I'm
that.
watermelon, the real watermelon. All you other watermelons are not quite as ominous as I am, and etc.
I can't take that. I rescind my offer.
Yeah, that's the move.
All right, why don't we play some Cthulhu, maybe?
Let's do it.
So, thanks to Travis Cole and Gertrude, is that the name of the plane?
Greta.
Greta. I knew it was a G name. Sorry, it's in my notes, but I'm trying to make eye contact with OPS.
It's a girl he has fond memories of from the war.
Big as a plane,
Oh.
old Greta.
Big as a plane. I'll go with a wingspan you wouldn't believe.
Well, Travis Cole has a wingspan you wouldn't believe, so I suppose that checks out. Travis and his expert handling of Greta, not the young lady in the war, manages to take you all safely across the Mediterranean, a passage imperiled by the presence of several eldritch creatures. These winged abominations of smoke writhing through the air that were prepared to portal you into the past. I'm realizing now that I'm alliterating quite a lot in this little synopsis. And now I feel pressured to continue. Nevertheless, through his piloting and several well-placed pistol shots from Hannah Cooper and Brad, you have emerged safely, leaving behind your pursuers, and traveling in a freshly repaired plane to Jerusalem. Travis, you mark yourself out a landing field, you communicate over the radio with the landing strip, safely land the plane, negotiate the renting of a hangar for the duration of the time that you're here, at a price that is, you suspect, somewhat gouged. I will say on your behalf, you are welcome to just pay it and not cause problems, or try and negotiate the price, or have one of your compatriots do the same. Either way, your credit rating can handle it.
Yeah, I mean, the temptation to try to check his skill is always there, but honestly, Travis's goal is to be forgotten when he walks out of any room or any place. So he doesn't want to be the guy who haggled or made a scene or whatever. So he tends to just kind of go with the flow. Plus, he never expected to have all this money anyway. So he's not really frugal with it. So even if he knows he's getting ripped off, he doesn't mention it.
All right.
He mentions what a fair price it is and how he's sure. In fact, he kicks in just a little extra so they'll look after his plane really well.
Kind of you. There seems to be a reasonable familiarity with the English language over here from tourism and various wars. But they do turn around and confer with one another as you are making this generous offer. This is normally the part where if they were speaking English, Hannah would probably be making a lip-reading roll. What languages are known by the group? I know Travis knows French, and I know Hannah knows Latin. What else have we got?
That's
English.
it for me. Yeah, English.
Yeah, that's one thing I don't love about this system is I've never really run into a way to pick up additional skills. I guess you do that in the extended downtime that's supposed to come, in a long campaign. But if you don't start with it in Cthulhu, you're probably never going to have it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's what luck's for.
Languages you start with 1%, according to the character sheet.
That's for the hand gestures.
Yeah, my education is super high, but only in one language.
You can get
apparently.
a connection. Can you guys hear me?
You glitched for a second there. But
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah, it's been happening around here some.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, the language still has little breakpoints in it that's like, if you're this high, you can order a beer and find a bathroom. And, you need to be this high to plot, military strategy.
After 4 semesters, I can find a beer and a bathroom in Spanish. And that is the extent of my powers. Man, if I need a library, which is fast disappearing need in the world today, I know what to say.
How long? This question is relevant to how I will decide to go forward for this session. I developed a mania last time, but I don't know how long I'm supposed to have that. Is that indefinite, like the other thing, or was that just like the 10 turns last session?
Which one did you pick up?
Being obsessively nice to people.
I think until we can justifiably be done with it, or until we get bored of it, which has not happened yet.
You could say that it's only when she's stressed or when she's not stressed, or something like that. But
I think so. Let's go ahead and set the tone for the group as far as when it comes to these insanity things. In Rob's opinion, this is part of the spice of Cthulhu, is getting the opportunity to kind of play an insane character and doing things that they would not normally do. I also recognize that there are people, you might be some of them, who really don't want people messing with their character too much, and they kind of came here to play who they want to play, and they want to enjoy that character. So the worst that I will do is call upon you to make an unwise decision based on a mania. But I invite you to roleplay your mania as much or as little as you find interesting. So
Travis is obsessed with books, but I don't, I'm not going to bore y'all by asking the guy at the airport if he'll let me behind the counter so I can read his manuals in a language I don't speak. So before we leave the airport, I would like to make a call, please. I will whip out the only picture of Barlow. Is that his name? Sorry, I haven't opened my notes.
You can always just call him Alvin.
Great. I probably won't do that.
Okay.
But I have a picture of him when he was much younger. If I have anything that would be more recent, I'll use it, but otherwise I showed the guys here at the airport this picture now that I've greased them a little bit, and I asked them if this man looks familiar to them. Has he been through it would be probably the last 24 hours or so.
Okay.
I don't know that he would land in the same place as us, but it's worth a shot. A lucky shot.
That's true. First thing I would like you to do is to... I don't think it's charm when you have greased them. Maybe this is persuade.
If it's persuade, I have a very good chance at succeeding. If it's any other social skill. I could psychoanalyze them for free if they'd like that. Yeah, I'll try a persuade if they feel like maybe they're not taking it seriously, but I try to convince them without the benefit of a common language
Yeah.
that it's important.
You share a common language, just not their first language.
Yes. And if I get the sense that showing a badge or something would be helpful, I'll do it. I kind of feel like it wouldn't be here, but that works in the States. I make the roll. I make a normal roll, and
Okay.
I will put my first check mark down.
They look to one another. So you've kind of entered this hangar, and there's people moving around. There's people moving boxes, and there's 3 guys like carrying a propeller on their backs and kind of struggling with it. Hannah, you notice some of the boxes they're moving. One of them has a hole in it, and little pieces of ammunition are falling out the bottom, and they're cursing at one another, talking about it. But there's these 2 guys who are behind this little table, which is serving as this desk, and that's who Travis is sort of dealing with. And, one of them has a lit cigarette and has his sleeves rolled up. His shirt is held together by only the bottom button. And his buddy is in kind of a military uniform that is obviously a decade old. And they turn to one another and have a quick conversation. And the one that speaks better English of the 2, who is the fellow in the uniform, Travis, responds, it's an American, like yourself, yes?
He is.
He's
He's older than in this picture.
mustache?
Yes. You have to tell Mike if he's saying something wrong. I think so, yes. Likes to kill people a lot.
He
I don't
does.
say that.
Well, I thought I knew who you were talking about, but he killed no one in the time that I saw it. It must
Wrong
be a different
guy.
man. Yes, he arrived. Passenger plane. Many passengers, also him. Asked for directions. Very, very touristy. Wanted to know where he could find old books and camels, hire laborers. He also gave us money, like you did. He gave more, though. Bit of an asshole about it. But...
Did he just call me an asshole?
No, him was an asshole.
Oh, okay, yes, he definitely is. I say, yeah, he he got my daughter in a family way, and I'm going to catch him.
Well, we don't want to stand in the way of that. We'll happily send you on your way when your business is done, and we don't have to let anyone know what you were doing or that you were here for the small price, of course. That we sent him on his way. We were happy to be rid of him.
I reach out to shake his hand and say, I appreciate you being honest with me. I'd always heard that everyone here was much more helpful than we would ever expect in the States. And as I shake his hand, I'm passing him, another 20, and which is like $500, And I say it would be very helpful if we could acquire a car quickly and know where he went.
You're in luck. Malak here. And he points to the guy with the hairy chest and the cigarette. It's like, Malak has a car, and he will take you where you need to go. And Malak says something in response that is very indignant. But the response from the gentleman you're speaking to quiets him pretty quick.
I say that sounds great.
Collect your things, and Malak will bring the car around.
That's what I was about to say. I've got a few things I need to bring along.
And don't worry about your plane. We take very good care of it.
I'd say her name is Greta.
Beautiful name for the plane.
When I'm alone with these guys, I say if we need to separate ourselves from Malak and the car. We need to separate Malak from the car later. We'll do that. But for now, he knows where he's going, so we need a driver.
Fair enough.
True. We probably wouldn't even be able to find our way across town without his help at the moment.
Exactly.
Before we go very much further, quick thank you to Sheepish Lamb for sharing with us her customary bit for the stream. I haven't seen you in a while, Sheepy. Hope things are well. Sheepish Lamb is responsible for everything that you see on the screen right now. All of these art assets she made for us.
Nice.
Also, Dabs followed up that cheer with 10 bits of his own. Thank you, Dabs. Thank you guys for supporting the stream. I really love it when you guys are here, whether you are cheering or gifting or doing any of the things that you guys do that you absolutely don't have to. Yeah. Thank you guys. Appreciate you very much. We have been well in your absence, Sheepy. Hope you have been too. Right. Malak does bring the car around. You guys collect anything that you guys need. The well-greased people here at the airport bring Greta on into a hangar, and because you have so successfully incentivized them, you suspect that they will actually take decent care of your plane.
That's good. And
nevertheless, you do take anything of value with you.
Yes, I've got my stuff. I'm willing to part with most of my comic books and stuff, but I even take the time because of my new obsession to get like the first editions and that kind of stuff out and keep them as well. The temptation is there to tell them not to tell anybody they've seen us, but I know they would for $5, so I don't even bother asking. Again, I've probably busted my chances of not being memorable, but at least I'm not just going to be instantly betrayed, hopefully.
Brad, as Malak does bring the car around, and as Travis and Hannah are collecting their things, you notice a few telltale marks with Malak. He's fairly bare-chested, and his beard and hair are trimmed short and actually shaved away in some places. He is somewhat disfigured by a hard-lived life in some of the same ways that you are. Looks like he has had it tough and been in more tussles than common by his age, in his late 30s. And he seems, by your estimation, very unhappy to be saddled with all of you. When he was leaned back in a chair, enjoying somewhere around the umpteenth cigarette of the day, you don't doubt. He is lighting at one before the butt is entirely burned to the one he is currently working on.
We'll be smoking with him in the car, and I'll pass a flask.
The vehicle that you are riding around in is far from a taxi or a limousine, by the way. It is some pre-war vehicle from some other country that just got left behind during some operation that frankly has probably declined since it was abandoned under Malak's care.
The British are still here in large numbers, so there may be some Jeeps around and stuff too, just so you know.
Oh yeah. This looks like the front end of a truck that had a back end built out of 2x4s, and there's space for two of you in the cab.
Hannah, you want to sit up front?
Oh no, Travis, you should sit up there. Your leg. I mean,
as they argue,
I
jump in the front.
That's fine.
Okay. Well, that's also fine.
Just so you don't say I didn't call it later, I'm going to keep my bomber jacket on that I wear when I fly. I have a reason to keep it on now, so I do.
Gotcha.
I'm not wearing the traditional Men in Black suit, you know.
Ah, there you go. Probably good. It is summer, as you'll recall, and it is a very different climate than what you're used to. It is warmer, but infinitely drier. Even though this is somewhat of a coastal climate, it's just a less humid part of the world, and you know, I strongly suspect none of you quite packed for the weather when you left with a day's notice.
Probably not. No, I'll I'm wearing the khakis I was flying in and the combat boots, and in Pulp Cthulhu terms, the bomber jacket is armor. So that's half the reason I'm keeping it on. But also, he can't get by without a million pockets to hide guns and ammo in.
And a baseball bat.
And yeah, I do have the bat.
Driving through the desert in a bomber jacket and no air conditioning. Sounds like fun.
Yay, heat stroke.
Malak, by the way, has a very interesting driving posture. Even though he is in the driver's seat, he still has one leg up on the dash.
That's great.
And he turns over to you across his knee, Brad, and says, in a little bit more stilted English, "Where to, American?"
I say, take us to a hotel or somewhere we can stay first. We can get a room. Then we'll check in quickly and then take us to wherever Barlow was dropped off.
I put my thumb back, say, yeah, what he said.
Please.
Oh, sorry. Please.
So, in the interest of time, Malak is interested after the money that you dropped in taking you to a expensive resort hotel, or as close as is convenient. I don't know where your desire to have comfort or fly beneath the radar kind of meet, but what kind of place are y'all looking for?
I'll leave it to them. Certainly I would prefer to stay under the radar, but there are plenty of people who speak English, which would be useful too.
I mean, we could do maybe our first night at a more resort type place just to gather information about the area. And perhaps after that, find someplace a little bit more discreet and or cheap. I mean, we don't know how long we're going to have to be here as well.
Well, yeah. My shit will probably be safer at a nicer place too.
True.
Because I can't carry around all my shit all the time.
Mm-hmm. That bat's got to be getting heavy.
I mean, I got a case over here with a shotgun in it. Yeah. So.
Yeah.
Well, you are whisked away, and by whisked, I mean the bumpiest possible ride. By no fault of the road, just a really reprehensible means of conveyance, to a luxurious hotel. You know, several buildings taking up a couple of city blocks, attached by outdoor walkways with these almost palatial minarets and a courtyard with a fountain and lush greenery inside. It seems like it's about a swank a place as Malak is capable of taking you to. When he pulls up, even in this vehicle, these valets come up and begin to attend to your bags and start whisking them away to goodness knows where, and you are treated in high style. In fact, Malak begins this kind of conversation with one of the valets as though this is not the first time he has brought someone here. You speak to a young woman at the desk who welcomes you here and settles the price of the room and asks how long you'll be staying, which is something Rob would be interested to know.
I asked her if we can't go ahead and get the room for 5 nights with the option to extend it for 5 more.
Okay. She excitedly complies.
If you guys need your own rooms, I'll pay for it, but I just assume we all figure out how to make one room work.
I think after being attacked by flying space monsters, probably be best to stay fairly close.
Kind of the way I feel about it.
Yes, well, as long as we have just a little bit of space, I'm fine with whatever you guys want to do. I don't need my own room. It's fine.
So they take you to this suite with a few bedrooms and this adjoining common area. There's a telephone in the room dedicated to y'all, and some literature around for room service and the like, and various attractions, and a book kind of on one of the coffee tables of, kind of the history of the area. So, reasons why this is significant and why you might want to go see that, and why this symbolism is all over this area, and just, different sort of touristy information. And here you are kind of left to your own devices and to unpack and to figure out what to do next with your time.
I don't think we need to waste a lot of time. It's up to you guys, but we need to get after Barlow. The only thing we need to decide is whether Malak is our driver or we find somebody else.
He didn't seem super thrilled to be
I don't care if
chauffeuring us around.
I don't care if he's thrilled. I just need him to be. He right now is the only one who knows where Barlow went until he tells somebody else. So we probably ought to at least get him to take us to our next stop.
I just shrug. We need someone local.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, sure, we can get a car, but we're not going to know where to go. As miserable as he is, he's still bound to know the area.
I think that's
We
wise.
do need to find Barlow.
All right. Well, I click open like 3 big cases, and you guys see a variety of firearms and ammo. And I say, if you need something, grab it. There's a knife here. There's the bat, obviously, Hannah can't have.
Do I still have both the 45s that I had before? Because I had one that Barlow gave me, and the other one that I took from Barlow after knocking him out. But there was also a Shoggoth incident where I may have lost one.
I was going to say, I suspect strongly that you would not have either of those particular 45s, but you have had intervening years to have acquired yourself another or an additional one.
How much ammunition do I have? Because we never really went over that.
How much ammunition did you bring?
Yeah. At least 1 reload, I would say.
Okay. Yeah, easy.
So I looked.
Travis, you have 45s
Travis's...
in your
That's the
arsenal.
only gun I carry. That's the only gun in my arsenal besides a shotgun.
So if you feel like you haven't brought enough, Travis probably did.
Perfect. So I'm good with that.
Sounds good.
I've got my revolver.
All right, I just wanted to make sure y'all loaded up. I only have the 1 bomber jacket. If you want it, Hannah, you're welcome to wear it.
Oh, no, thank you. It's more important that you don't get hurt.
I look at her for a really long time, and I say, "Do you need a drink?" I light 2 cigarettes and hand her one.
I'll take it. Thank you. That was really considerate.
I think we need to keep moving, but I think you need to get a good night's sleep.
I mean, if you're tired, if you guys are tired, you could take a nap. I could keep watch. But I'm fine.
Okay, I think we need to keep moving for now.
Smoke a cigarette.
I kind of look at Travis and shrug.
I hold the cigarette case towards you.
I wave it off.
Okay.
But I take
I don't
kind of
recall
a side.
seeing you smoke, so
I take a side eye glance at Hannah. Since we're both seeing the difference in her demeanor.
Yeah. But I mean, Travis is only part of him is like, I mean, if this is the worst thing that happens to you after seeing space snakes try to eat your plane, it's not
And hey,
terrible. You know, I mean, he's seen a lot worse, for a lot less, frankly.
Monsters.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
It's a
the
big
demon
gnashing
hamsters.
teeth. That's the thing that gets you. All right, let's go catch Malak before he gets too drunk or he just drives off, which I'm willing to make a bet now that he has already done. But let's go check.
Why don't we make a luck roll? He was kind of having a chummy pal around with the valets. It took you guys a while to get checked in. You would have to be pretty fortunate for him not to have gone on back to his seat at the
He was told to wait.
airport. Ah, well, you paid
That
his
doesn't mean
boss,
he
not
did.
him.
All right. Well, I mean, it's somewhere in there, we needed to know where Barlow went, or we're just going to have to role play going back to the airport and asking again. I assume I have the worst luck. Anybody? You guys are higher than an 86.
I got a
Yeah.
94.
Yeah, I figured.
Pulp Cthulhu, man. I'm not testing
Well,
you guys.
I'm just going to go ahead and tell you the trait that you don't ever want to let your players take is lucky.
Yeah.
Which is the one I took. I made my luck roll easily.
Okay, Malak is still out there. Now, Malak has had... you think they have exchanged more than just cigarettes. And he is... he's in a good mood right now. And he is probably going to rapidly lose his ability to be coherent, you suspect.
All right. I persuade him that he needs a break. He's been working too hard.
He has been. It's really...
You
That
have
chair
been.
doesn't lean back on its own. That takes effort.
So guide us to where you dropped off Barlow. I'll drive, and you can relax, and then I don't know, do whatever you want to. You can go home, whatever.
He's currently in a good mood. I'm not gonna make you roll for anything. He looks at you a little confused. Points at the building you came from.
Oh, he checked in here.
He insisted on best. This is best.
Perfect. That makes that fits with the man we know perfectly. I pat him on the
It
back.
really does.
Offer him a cigarette and a swig out of the flask. And I ask him if he could wait.
He
I
drinks
know
all of the flask.
that's fine. I know it won't matter. There's whiskey in the room. I know it won't matter, but I tell him to wait just a little longer in case we need another ride. Mike having no expectation that he'll be here.
He reaches out and takes another cigarette. Oh wait.
I've told you the
wait.
only thing that gives away that Travis is rich are his cigarettes. He buys the really nice cigarettes. He can't help himself. And his lighter is Abernathy's lighter, so it's fancy. Do you guys want to go see if you can work the front desk, Hannah, and figure out where Barlow is?
Mm-hmm.
Figured you'd be good at that. You want to borrow the picture? I'll loan you the picture in case you need it.
Yeah, I'll take the picture.
While she's doing that, I'll just hang back a little bit in the lobby and watch the comings and goings.
I'm going to get at some counter angle to wherever he is. In fact, if there's a bar, I'll just go sit at it.
There's a bar.
That'll be where that's my stakeout location.
So the bar is a little bit of a private space. It is not kind of in the public check-in area. You go up a little flight of stairs. You kind of enter a darker, a little more secluded space with a bunch of cushions set around for your comfort and privacy. But if you are interested in keeping an eye on things, that might not be the spot you go to.
I trust that Brad can handle watching the lobby. I tell them both I'm going to go up to the bar and just see who comes and goes and try to eavesdrop. And that's exactly what I do.
Okay.
Plus, I drink a lot.
We'll handle Hannah first. Hannah, you approach the desk. And
Mhm.
it's been not half an hour since you checked in, and
Mhm.
the young woman there gives you a shallow and very quick bow. Says, "I trust your room is to your liking."
Oh, it's amazing. Thank you. Couldn't be any better.
How may
I
I
mean, you're
help you
just so
then?
wonderful.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Very kind.
So we're about to meet up with another friend of ours, but we haven't seen him yet. I was wondering if maybe you knew where he was, or if he's been around today. And I'll take out the picture, and show her.
Uh,
He's a little bit older than this now. He might have like a mustache.
you can make a psychology roll.
Okay. All right. I've got an okay chance of that. I failed it by 3, but I think that's worth a few luck points to pass.
Okay. Luck points, or luck points, luck points?
Regular luck points off of my sheet.
Good to know.
I know you get those. I know
Good
that.
to know.
Yeah, but it's better than burning your tin. I agree.
Yeah.
She kind of closes her eyes and shrugs and kind of pushes the picture back in your direction and says, "I'm sorry that we keep our clientele private. Many people come here to relax and escape. If they truly are your friend, then perhaps you would have a more recent photo, or you would have some means of contacting them, but it is a courtesy that we will be affording to you as well to not discuss the comings and goings of guests." But through her word choice and how she's not just saying "I've never seen the man before" and the kind of the light of recognition, you pick up on all these little subtle tells that she's seen this guy.
Yeah. Yeah, I kind of expected that. That she wouldn't be like, "Oh yeah, he's in room 14. Here's the key." I was like, okay, well, you're right. We're all here to relax and have a good time, and you're certainly great at your job and just so pretty. Wow. Okay, well, I'm just gonna go.
Her cheeks color a bit.
Okay, well, I'm gonna go, but if you do see him, just let him know that his friend is looking for him.
Would you like to leave a name?
No, he'll know who you're talking about.
Is there any sort of message if I should see this person? Where to meet,
No,
or
just
a time?
well.
Would you like to make your residence known to him?
No, I don't want to bother you too much with too much information. Just tell him to meet us up at the bar. We'll probably be there anyways.
She had this pen and paper ready, and she's like, too much information.
Just tell him to go up to the bar. My friends like to drink, and I imbibe every now and then. So you just just send him up there.
She agrees, and she makes a little note and pushes it back under the desk in a place you can't see. That being done for Hannah, Brad, why don't you make a spot hidden, please? You're keeping an eye out for things. I am going to make this hard, I think.
So my
That's what she said.
43. But I really want to spot hidden things, and I have a ton of luck. So I will spend my Eldritch symbol for 10.
Ooh.
And then I can spend my own luck on top of that, can't I?
Absolutely.
Okay, so my spot hidden sucks, which is 25, which means hard is 12. I rolled a 43, so I need 31 altogether. So I will spend 21 luck.
That
Yay! I'm
doubles
not the
my
least
luck
my
lucky
in
own.
now.
hand.
To succeed.
Okay. So this is a very open concept kind of front area. Like there's these arches leading directly into the courtyard, and you can kind of see up like 3 stories. And this is one of the taller buildings in the area. A lot of that is around you is 2 stories at best. And, just generally a lower down kind of area of the city. And while kind of the walls here are whitewashed with these colorful murals or everything, for the most part, the color is in a lot of the attire here, where you have tourists and locals, and tourists trying to dress like locals, and locals trying to dress like tourists, and lots of ostentatious, culturally appropriate, and sometimes culturally insensitive outfits on display. And it's kind of difficult in all of this to single anything out when you are trying to specifically look kind of for Barlow or other faces that you recognize. However, though the attire is different, and though there is a great distance between you, on the topmost level across the courtyard, walking kind of along a balcony heading for one of the rooms, you do see a familiar figure. Recognizable mostly by the dark skin, the long flowing hair, the curvaceous silhouette.
I see.
Someone you haven't seen since a flaming vortex 1 Shoggoth ago. She's walking with company this time. Judging by the stature and the build, you believe this to be a man, though very little of him is visible in the yards upon yards of fabric that he is wearing. It obscures his face, his arms, his entire person is disguised by the attire.
Does he look like he could be roughly Barlow's size?
Taller,
okay.
Taller by a head and some change. And frankly not as broad either.
A little more spindly.
Yeah, and the outfit is remarkable mostly by the material, you think. It can't have been inexpensive. It's also ostentatious by means of the color. No one else that you have seen is dressed entirely in yellow like that.
Do I see which room they're headed to, or are they going to disappear from my vision?
If you continue to watch, yes, it is third from the end of their particular side of the building.
Okay.
On the topmost floor. What number or anything you might be, but if you count doors, you can find.
I can figure it out. So I wait till they actually go into the room. And then I'm going to head over to the bar so that I can inform Travis of what I've seen.
Wonderful. Travis, you make your way to the bar, and it is as much of a smoking lounge as it is about libation. Here, there is shade. It is, there's almost a wall of temperature change as you walk in here, compared to the outside. There are fans running as quietly as possible in corners of the room. There is some stringed instrument that you've never heard before and can only guess the name of being played in the corner by a rather elderly man, trying to be as unobtrusive as possible and kind of set a little bit of an atmosphere. and there's just a haze of smoke, and there's about anything you could imagine to smoke something out of is represented here in some form.
Okay.
But you make your way to the bar and you order yourself a drink. They have, which is probably one of the few places in the city you can get name brand things from far off places. But they have some local libations as well. And you pick your favorite and place an order and light a cigarette, or could partake from some of the local fare if you wished.
Yeah, I probably, while I'm working, if I was on vacation, it'd be different. While I'm working, I am a little happier if I see them open. I order something from a bottle that the seal hasn't been broken on yet, and let them serve me something that I recognize.
All right, excellent. They do exactly that.
Travis is super paranoid when he's working.
You get, are you sipping or are you drinking?
The first one I just drink, and I tell him to make me another one, and then I go sit down and sip.
About the time you are finding your seat, then, Brad has made his way to you.
What's up?
I'm gonna saddle up next to him.
I slide my drink over in front of him.
Thank you. I seem to have seen your girlfriend up on the balcony.
Saida?
Yeah, you know, the one I took a shot at?
The one I went to London with?
I don't know anything about that. But yeah, she's up on the, what floor is it? She's up on the 3rd floor with some tall guy in yellow.
Yeah. Mike is having trouble suppressing commenting on that. Well, I thought she would have been satisfied with the first book, but apparently she's after the next one. Suspect she has compromised Barlow too, although to hear you and Hannah tell it, he didn't need a very big push.
Nah.
What do you think we should do about it? I mean, surely they're all together and they're all doing. If we figure out what room she's in,
I know which room
see her leave, we can break into her room and go through her shit.
Well, that's a plan. You want to just stake out the room?
I mean, she's in there right now. She could be summoning demons, but
Last time we confronted her, that didn't go that well.
that's why I'm trying to think of other plans than kicking in the door.
Well, we can keep an eye on the room. I don't know if Hannah's made any leeway on finding out where Barlow is.
Do you know her exact room number?
I don't know the exact number, but I know it by sight. If you come out to the lobby with me, I can point it out.
Yeah, I want to see if one of the rooms adjacent to her is free. It's available. And if it's not, I want to make it available.
All right. I asked the bartender, "Can I take this out of the bar?" Holding up the drink.
They give you a wave.
And we head out into the lobby. I'm
Hannah,
not going
you
to
are,
blatantly
finishing at the
point
desk,
towards
by
the
the way.
room. Just kind of describe it.
Yeah.
Your friends are gathering kind of nonchalantly as they are able, as a, pair of obviously foreign guys and cool bomber jackets and whatnot. Leaned up against the pillar to the courtyard and kind of like,
It's
he's
right
he's
after the
making out
war.
that way."
There ought to be a lot of people.
Yeah, it's true.
He
That's
said
fair.
he said he was cool about it. What floor are we staying on before I do anything else?
2nd floor. You guys are not at your room right now. Of course, you're down in the courtyard, but your 2nd floor,
Yeah.
kind of on the left-hand side of the courtyard. This would be across the courtyard, 3rd floor, all the way on the right, or almost all the way on the right.
Right. So we don't share a common plane with her room. Okay. I'm just gonna go figure. I mean, I'm gonna make sure I know what room she's in, like numerically,
Okay.
and then go ask the front desk. Just gonna say I'm not. It's not gonna work. All three of us in one room. And I'm wondering if one of the following rooms is available for me. I like the way the sun doesn't hit the building over there. I have sensitive eyes. Always add a little truth to your lies.
That's fair. For the sake of things, since y'all are curious about numbers and all, I will put numbers to it. Y'all are in room 214. There's
Okay.
3 floors. The hundreds are the floors. There's on this particular courtyard, and again there are other buildings scattered around that you could rent out like the entire little villa if you wished, but there was really no need for y'all or for Barlow.
Not sure I could afford that.
Yeah. 328 is the room in question, whether you figure that out now or later.
Okay, yeah, I mean, you spend as much or as little time as you want on this, but I try to persuade this lady that I'm need another room, and my preference would be third floor, 326 or 320, 330.
Okay. That's... I have dice here. I should use them too. Oh, that's not the right one.
The room's not available. I'm not giving up. Just
Yeah.
I'm gonna go knock on the door and say, "I'm sorry, sir. This room is infested with rats."
Why don't you roll me a spot hidden, please?
Okay.
She pulls up, kind of starts turning through a ledger and starts checking.
Yeah, when I got
notations
to the
from
front
earlier
desk,
on.
I was gonna ask if I saw Barlow's name on anything that would give me a clue as to what room like his mail in a box or something. I make my spot hidden. I mean, it's just a normal success.
Okay. As she is flipping through the pages, you see.
Sorry, I forgot I get to roll 2 dice. It's still just a normal success. Go ahead.
Okay. You see Barlow's signature as she is flipping through this book. It's not on the page that she is dealing with. But you see it, and it's closer to the front, as relatively near where you had signed in, you imagine, based on the pages of the book.
Right.
So she's kind of turning back to older things, and while 330 was taken, 326 became available yesterday and is reserved tomorrow, but for tonight it is available if you are content with that. Or if you would like to make an arrangement to where she could find another room for that future guest.
I say, just for tonight, I lean in and I say, frankly, I'm not feeling very well. I could just use a little privacy. So one night's probably enough, and then I'll move back to our big room.
All right. 326, one night only. Hannah, I'm assuming you've either joined Travis as he has kind of come to where you were, or you've joined Brad out there by the courtyard. Where are you at?
I mean, originally I was gonna walk to join them in the area where they were both together, so the courtyard. I don't feel any need to follow Travis back to the desk, if nothing, for I don't want it to look suspicious that he's going up there with me a second time, like I've called in reinforcements or something. So I'll go hang out with Brad while he is doing that.
All right. As the two of you are waiting around the courtyard, keeping an eye
And
on...
I'll fill her in on the latest.
Excellent, yeah. As you were doing that, a lad comes to you. Late teens, very early 20s, perhaps. It looks as though he has the desire and full intention to be growing a beard.
Gonna start tomorrow.
Without any of the genetics to really back it up.
Sounds like me.
But he is smartly dressed in a tasseled vest and cloak, and he has a little hat on. It says, excuse me, you are new guests to the Sheiks, yes?
Yes.
Ah,
We're just visiting.
wonderful. Will you be staying long? Are you looking for anything in the city? What is it you wish to find? I will help you.
Well, that's a very nice offer.
The things you wish to see, you wish to know the history of the city?
Uh,
You wish to see the historical sites, or are you here on a pilgrimage? Do you wish to see the temples? I know many priests, many Levites. They can teach you what they know.
Oh, wow. Well, I'm kind of like looking to Brad for a second and then saying, we're very interested in the history of the area specifically.
Oh, wonderful. I can show you historical sites. I may take you there. I may take you to the repositories. I may take you to the libraries. I may introduce you to historians. Anyone that you wish to know or anyone that you wish to find in the city, ask Judas ben Judah.
Judas, okay.
Of course he is.
I say,
Well,
I'm kind
that's,
of curious about the history of this place.
The Sheiks.
No, the hotel.
The Sheiks, yes.
That's the name? That's the name of it.
The Sheiks has been in Jerusalem for a little over 80 years, though modern conveniences have been recently added to make it more comfortable to travelers like yourselves. It was called this because great sheiks used to travel through the area and make themselves at home in these temporary residences, and were not satisfied with anything but the best. And though the area around here has been built up thanks to their trade and thanks to the money that they have brought in, Sheik stands as a pillar of the community and as one of the finest luxury dwelling places in the city.
That sounds like a great advertisement. I'm a little more interested in secrets. Every old building has them. Come on, a guy like you, I'm sure you've got the dirt.
Well, many people have traveled here, and much has happened within these walls. I do not know everything. I am still a young man, but I have heard things, and I cannot say if they are true, but they are most amusing to hear if you wish to.
Well, even rumors that aren't founded can make for good stories.
His eyes kind of sparkle at this, and he starts, spinning you this tale of, not gonna name any names, but a certain member of a certain royal family came down here with a certain member of this army, and there was some and he starts this. He spins it like a soap opera for you, and just starts going off on this tale.
So I listen attentively, always keeping one eye towards the room that we're watching.
You listen to, frankly, a rather distracting story for the next 4 minutes, and then you see the woman. You see Saida leave the upstairs room, and she begins to walk back the way she came, alone, down the balcony, towards where you suspect are stairs or an exit of some kind. There seem to be stairs at the different corners of the courtyard.
I glance over at Hannah and see if she is paying attention to what Saida is doing.
I've been trying to keep an eye on just the surroundings this whole time. I assume I did catch sight of her.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Not only do I see her, I'm interested in following her and seeing where she's going.
Now, remind me again, where's Travis in relation to the room? Is he able to see her as well?
He is behind you, kind of under the shelter of the ceiling and in the shade of everything. He can't really see from the front desk, the upper floors, but he's within 40 feet of you.
I'm going to rely on them to pay attention. I'll turn back to our friend and say, you know, there was a really striking fellow dressed in the most peculiar garment, all yellow. I hadn't seen quite such a array on anyone else. Could you tell me anything about this individual? If not, I totally understand, but it just struck me as different and very exotic.
He kind of looks at you quizzically. A man dressed in yellow. Do you?
From head to toe, where you almost couldn't see any other part of his skin. Have you heard of any ceremonial clothes that someone might wear along those lines?
There is nothing that I know that matches what you say. When did you see such an individual, sir?
Just in the past hour, walking in one of the hallways. I would have approached him myself, but that seemed like it would have been a little rude. But it was a fascinating piece of. It was a fascinating image, I guess, is the best way to put it. I just assumed he had some sort of function, since the clothing almost appeared, as I said, either ceremonial or a uniform or a symbol of status. I would suppose. Have you ever heard of anything along those lines? If not, I totally understand, but just struck me as an oddity.
You suspect Judas Ben Judah has probably not gotten a lot of questions that seem out of left field to him, or that he is not prepared to answer, or at least make up an answer to. But he says, I confess, sir, I do not know to what it is you are referring. I would like very much to know, so that I could answer your question, but I do not know of any yellow-dressed ceremonial anyone.
I'm something of a collector of odd bits of information, that's all. And it seemed kind of strange. Now, when he does this, does he seem honestly perplexed, or does he give any hint that I might have touched upon something?
You can roll your psychology.
Fantastic. What is my psychology?
Fantastic.
Ooh, my psychology is not horrible. Not great, but not horrible. Oh, but with a 16, that is actually a hard success. Just barely.
You think Judas is incredibly interested in ingratiating himself to you. You reckon him as one of these guys who is, he kind of makes his living off of the generosity of his betters, and in very much a touristy kind of way, but not so much in a take advantage of the touristy kind of way. Just finding fish out of water like yourselves and tending to their whims is this young man's livelihood. He would hold nothing back if he thought it would get him a few dinar, right? But he's almost ashamed that he doesn't have an answer for you.
So I just nod and smile, and maybe press a couple of dinar into it. Do I have any money on me? Any of their currency? Because so far, Travis has been paying for everything.
If you have made time to seek it out, then you do. Otherwise, money's money, and he'll find a way to turn it into what he needs.
I'll press a quarter into his hand. Thank you. And then
he takes it and is grateful.
and then I will say, you must excuse me. I need to go and speak with my friends momentarily. But I do appreciate the offer, and I might take you up on it later, as far as seeing some of the sights of the city.
So he turns his full attention to Hannah and tries to find out what you need as Brad exits the scene.
I've been distracted, not really listening to this interaction go on. I was trying to keep an eye on where Saida was walking. Is she gone now, or?
She has made her way kind of to the corner of the courtyard on her balcony, and made her way to where you understand there to be stairs, but they are outside of your sight. Which, if she reemerges on a balcony or heads into the courtyard, then from your position you would be able to see if there is any other exit, or if she goes in any other direction. You would not from your current vantage.
Okay. But from where I am, she's too far away for me to effectively get there and tail her, basically, is what I'm trying to
No, you could
to.
could hustle over to the stairs and have a look around.
Okay. Yeah, that's what I want to do. Before I walk away, I'll kind of turn to Judas and just say thank you so much for giving us more information. We'll definitely talk more later. I just have to go take care of some lady things.
Is there anything you need? I can fetch it for you.
No. Already fully stocked. Thank you.
Yes,
I'll give him $1. Yeah.
All right. He was fully prepared to follow you to wherever you were going, except for your insistence that he is not needed for feminine activities. And so now he looks a little bit lost and not sure what to do with himself. But you start crossing the courtyard and heading for the kind of the corner of the building. You haven't gotten the chance to roll your spot hidden yet, have you?
Mm-mm.
Okay. You make your way kind of to the base of the stairs at the corner of the courtyard, and when you get to here, you realize that this stairwell, sort of in a motel style, leads down to the courtyard, yes, but you can also pass between the two sections of this building and out into kind of the broader complex that is the Sheiks. And for whatever reason, this area here is host to an event of some kind. There's another fountain, and there are a lot of people here, moving about, milling about, passing food back and forth. There is music, there is dancing. Not sure if it's a wedding or a bat mitzvah or something, but there's a lot of motion and noise in this kind of exterior courtyard that you're going to. And see if you notice anything as you are standing here.
Okay. Ooh, should be pretty good. Let's see. Spot hidden, I got a 37. That's a normal success.
Normal success. All right. Kind of partway through the party, heading towards a building kind of at the extremity of the property. There's a wall around all of these buildings, and there are... Bungalow is not the right word, but there are these kind of private houses at the perimeter of the property, and heading on a course to go inside one, you see the back of Saida. It's not to belabor the point, but she is kind of even amongst, a slew of beautiful people, she is kind of a singular figure. And it's not difficult to pick her out of a crowd, literally, is what you're doing.
Hey, you said there's like an event going on right here. Is there anything akin to like a vendor close by? Or do I see any like abandoned? I assume it being like a desert type area, there's like the women of the area might wear like a headscarf or something similar to keep the sun off of their heads. Anything I could snatch that would like give me a little bit of cover on my face, basically.
Everyone who brought one is wearing one, but there is just fabric sort of around in curtains and tablecloths and
Nice
food
napkins.
coverings. Yeah. If you are hoping to procure an affectation, it's a thing that you could do. It might not be discreet without a roll, but it's very possible.
What's your disguise skill?
And do
Like,
you
what's
want
the
to
number?
Sherlock Holmes your way through a market?
I love the Sherlock Holmes scene where he just is grabbing shit and putting on a disguise. I have added that to every game I've run since I've seen it.
I mean, my disguise skill's a 43. It's not nothing.
Yeah,
That's
and you're
excellent.
supernaturally disguisey too.
And I do have the supernatural ability to
Yeah.
look like someone that someone knows.
Let's have you and I mean your supernatural disguising is I just think that makes you very good at disguising and possibly insinuating yourself into someone's history.
Mhm.
And they are not necessarily mutually exclusive. But yeah, roll your disguise. You were doing this in a crowded area, so I'm going to say that you must achieve a hard success. But because you are supernaturally talented at it, I will give you a bonus die to try and make your hard success.
Okay. Glad you did. Ooh, okay, that went from an 89 to a 29. Although that is not quite down to a hard success, but I could use that 10 luck and get there.
You could. Do
Do you?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
There was a
yes.
vagary in your choice of verbs.
All right, so the camera kind of
True.
follows Hannah through the crowd, and as we pass behind one person, you know, and Hannah is obscured for a moment, some article of clothing changes, a head covering appears, this tone of her skin gets a shade darker, her hair gets a little bit darker, and you just, like, person by person, moment by moment, get a little bit more, innocuous, a little bit more local as you make your way through this party. And it is a party. Like, you were kind of dodging, wheeling limbs and a serving tray and neatly avoid the slosh of some alcoholic beverage as it comes by, and start making your way towards this building. It is closed, and it is in plain view of a lot of people. What is the plan when you arrive?
You said the door is closed. Have I seen anybody else like coming and going, or just her?
You saw her enter. In fact, she went to the door, and you noticed her knock, and then she was admitted.
Yeah.
By whoever it was opened the door from behind the door. You didn't see who let her in, but she was admitted.
Okay. Can I steal a serving tray?
Sure. Yeah.
Or attempt to?
Yeah. You just find one kind of set on a table at the side of the party, you know. Empty except for a half-eaten one thing, but you've got it.
Okay. I will discard that thing and see if I can fill it with a few drinks.
Okay.
From wherever they are being served from.
Yep.
Okay. And then I will take that up straight up to the front door
Okay.
of that building.
You have arrived.
Okay.
Once you have made it to this place, you are rather alone. The party doesn't go all the way up to the door of this place. It was just a barrier between you and arriving at it. So you are a covered, passably supposed to be here person with your prop,
Mhm.
standing alone, kind of on the doorstep of this bungalow, which I cannot divorce myself from the word bungalow. It's not what it is, but that's what I'm saying.
Are there windows? Like,
There are. They have
Okay.
curtains, but yes.
okay, before I go with my plan of knocking on the door and presenting them with drinks, I do want to kind of like lean up against the wall and like peer in through the window and just see what I see.
Okay.
Very sneakily, stealthily.
You are not going to see things, that is how someone meticulously placed these curtains.
Okay.
With full intention. But you discover that as you try to look through. It's possible you might hear something, and it's possible that someone's going to see the serving girl leaning up against the windows at the outside of a party, kind of not where she's supposed to be.
Mhm.
So I would like you to roll your stealth, please. It's taking me back to trying to break into the preacher man's place in the Excelsior.
Yep.
Where she burned the hotel down
Yeah,
afterwards.
I remember
Yeah.
I'm good at accidentally setting things on fire. Well, I rolled a 65, which is a regular success for me on stealth.
A regular success. All right, so no one comes to get you back to work. We'll go ahead and let you roll your listen, if you would.
Don't forget your check marks, Katie.
Oh yeah, I'm checking them
We're about to take our break.
when
by the by.
applicable.
If anyone's eager for their restroom break, it's coming.
Okay, listen is also a regular success.
Okay. As you were listening at the door, you hear a feminine voice. You weren't really around to hear Saida before. She was either not talking or you were running screaming.
No, she's spoken to me directly through the glass.
Ah, okay. There we go.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
She was nose to nose with her in the catering staging room. Remember?
Oh yeah.
We were face to face, and she said a sentence to my face.
Yeah, she saw
Although it
through
has been a
time
while.
and space to speak to her and threaten her.
Yeah.
Good memory.
Yeah, very nice. You and Holdren, the only two that remember that kind of stuff around here.
I remember it if it happened to me.
Yeah, well. You hear her speaking. You hear no response. I will go ahead and lead with that. Sounds like a one-sided conversation. But you hear her say, I have thrown him off the scent. He will waste his time looking in all the wrong places while we make tangible progress. I have bought us a few days. He may be foolish, but he is not a fool. We must use this time wisely. Otherwise, our enemies will gain ground upon it, and everything that we have worked for may come to naught. You are not to let that happen, under any circumstance. Do we understand one another? And you hear a rumble, Anna. A voice, it is not. It doesn't sound particularly bestial. It's almost as though you were hearing an earthquake. but there's no motion, there's no discomfort, there's no disorientation associated with it. Just the sound of large things moving quickly and violently on the other side of that wall.
Okay. Does the conversation kind of fall silent after this?
The conversation seems to be over.
Oh.
Although,
Okay.
I will say, you stand there for a moment and you smell smoke. Not like a fire has started, but as though perhaps a cigarette or cigar or something similar has been lit.
Right. Okay. Got it. Well, I've heard some interesting information, and I think that after hearing those noises, my self-preservation is going to finally kick in, and I'm going to leave.
Oh no, you're so accommodating though. Do you not want to offer them a drink? You have some on a tray. Maybe they're thirsty. It's hot out here.
Is that you telling me that
No,
I should
not
be
at all.
doing that?
In fact, what I am going to say is we should have our break because I need to run downstairs to the restroom, and I suspect other people on and off this stream might as well. So we're going to take a 6-7 minute break, and we will return in a little bit and confer with the things that we have learned. Sound good, everyone?
Sounds good.
Sounds good.
All right, guys, we will see you guys in just a few minutes. See you soon.
D&D players, does this ever happen to you? Man, I sure love not exploding. Spontaneous human combustion has 200 cited reports, and none of them own Misty Mountain gaming dice, so why risk not having them? With the wide selection of unique and stylish dice, there's absolutely a set that's going to speak to your unique character. I mean, yeah, but what's the big deal? I can get dice anywhere. Uh-oh, 201. But I'm glad you asked. We also carry leather-bound books, leather bags, dice trays, pins, and even miniatures, all with free shipping within the state. Misty Mountain Gaming also supports fantastic charities from the Breast Cancer Research Foundation, the Hospital of St. Jude, and Extra Life Gaming. So not only are you getting sick dice, but you're helping people while you're doing it. Hey, thanks! I just got the Ballad of the Bard dice set. And do you feel like you're gonna explode? Nope. So visit Misty Mountain Gaming today and use code MOSAIC10 to get 10% off at checkout, or check the link in the description.
Yo, J Mosaic, what's up?
Yo, what's up, Damien? Okay, 202.
Mike.
I prefer to be right.
Well, just
Jeez.
try not to think of the implications of that. Welcome back, everybody. As we left things, Hannah, in disguise, just finished spying on Saida in a conversation she was having with God only knows who or what, as Brad is about to take some news to Travis, who is asking around after a new room for the night. And so the two of you convene in front of the desk, with Hannah nowhere in sight, and Judah slightly off screen, Judas Ben Judah, looking a little bit lost and wondering what to do with himself.
So I tell Travis that Saida was on the move, so it now might be a good time to check out her room.
Yeah, unless the big tall yellow man is in there. Did he go with her?
I did not see her. She left on her own.
And who's the little kid that's staring at us so intently?
He just wants to be useful.
Okay. Sorry, I'm just imagining him with a Yankees cap on. It's a deep cut for anybody. Anyway,
I got you.
So,
He's
yeah,
a
I mean,
little
I don't
older than
disagree
that.
with you. Yeah. Okay, is he?
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
late
Mostly I haven't been told
teens
his name yet.
Late teens to very early 20s.
Okay. All right, good. Yeah, okay, so I get my key from the girl behind the desk, I assume, to room 326.
Yeah, she, like, you look like you have broken her from her normal routine. She turns, like, to address a bellhop to get your bags. She realizes you don't have bags, but wait, they might be in the other room. And so she's like trying to find out if you need some of your things moved to the other place, or
I tell her to relax, that my friends will take care of me. You know, right now I just want some privacy in my room, if you know what I mean. So
she
thank you
knows
very
not
much.
to ask questions.
And yeah, I mean, I nod at Brad and I say, yeah, Hannah can handle herself. I'm sure she's fine. But I don't think anybody ought to be alone with Saida. So, because she's got abilities. So one or both of us should probably stick with her. We can check out the other room later. It's up to you. If you want to go up and I'll hold my key out to you if you want it, but I think somebody ought to get Hannah's back.
Well, let's go check with Hannah, see what's up with Saida, and then we can possibly go back and check out the room as a group.
Yeah, that sounds good. I mean, Travis's point is just Saida is dangerous.
Right.
So I don't think anybody ought to be alone with her.
You don't need to tell me about that one. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so let's go check in on Hannah, and then we'll go from there.
Yeah, I'm gonna I'm gonna do a terrible job, by the way. I'll just go ahead and predict, of like standing behind plants every so often and looking around the room, because I don't want Saida to see me, because I know she'll instantly recognize me.
One of those classic Looney Tunes,
or that may just be
camouflage.
My ego. But yes, I pick up a magazine and hold it upside down in front of my face every so often or whatever. Playing my default stealth. But yeah, I mean, I try not to just be Travis Cole just walking down the corridor.
And I'll just use Travis as my cover.
Yeah, that's probably good.
There you go. The 6-foot something stealth hero. And your destination is to catch up to Hannah on the far side of the party you don't know is happening?
Yeah, I mean, Brad speaks as though he knows what's going on, so I'm following Brad.
Okay. Brad, were you paying attention to where Hannah went when Hannah walked off?
I tried as best I could as I went over to get with Travis.
Okay.
But depending on how far she went, I might have lost her.
So you saw her heading for that end of the courtyard, and you can do the same. And
Okay.
Travis leading the way by the sound of things. And Brad, it doesn't escape your notice that Judas kind of is like 20 feet behind you, like. Just
I
with a
gave
smile on his
one
face.
kind of annoyed glance to the back. Yeah, that's going to be a problem.
And Travis, you stumble upon the party and you look around, and you do not see a Hannah as you remember her.
And I don't see a Saida.
You do not.
All right, I pick a point 100 feet ahead and kind of nod at it with Brad, and then I sort of nudge him left, and I'll go right, and we'll meet up there.
I take the hint and we circle around.
We're just gonna mingle.
All right. Travis, you are pretty quickly beset as you are going through the party by some slightly inebriated members of the family who are just thrilled that there is such a tall stranger in their midst. And they're asking you questions in, relative fluency of English, about how difficult it is to find clothes and how much of this, and they hand you a cup, it takes to get you drunk, and various things. Brad, as you're kind of mingling around the other way, you're kind of going by the uncles and cousins who kind of really don't want to be here, and they kind of have the sense that you're not supposed to be there either, but screw this guy and anything. They're like trying to, like, it's pretty clear that they're kind of hanging around near the gift table, and maybe one of them has pocketed something, and they're just kind of trying to seem like, they don't know who you are or why you're there, but they just hope it's not for them, with the way that you look and the way that you carry yourself. And either way, you guys are kind of getting a little bit of a berth as you're going through the party. And Hannah, as you are on the stoop of the definitely not bungalow, it's pretty easy to pick out your friends heading your way.
It's always easy to pick out Travis. Apparently, these people are thrilled they didn't have to pay for the freak show.
Okay. Is there...
You're so tall and you're so handsome, and what a nice cane you have, and why is there an eyeball on a serpent's neck?
Why is it looking at me?
And what
Wait, how
eyes
tall
do
are
you
you?
have? Do all Americans have eyes like that?
How tall are you again?
6'6".
Okay. I was about to say 6'6" is not that tall.
It's Michael Jordan
It's not.
walking through
Yes,
the middle
it
of...
is. Especially in the 30s, that was very tall.
I mean,
True.
Other than Goliath, there hasn't been a history of incredibly tall
Wow.
people.
Too soon.
Anyway.
Okay. I just have one more question before I leave the not bungalow.
Sure.
Does the door have like a keyhole?
Does the door have
like a
keyhole?
regular
Yes, of course
locking
it does.
mechanism?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna have a glance around, make sure no one is like looking my direction. Because I know I'm hidden, but it's also there's a lot of people here.
Well, it's not that you're hidden, it's that you are
Unassuming.
innocuous. Yeah, you're unassuming, leaning up against a wall.
Yeah. I don't look like I'm not supposed to be here yet.
Right up until the second you put your eye to the keyhole, you look like you're supposed to be here.
Leaving myself a provision for that.
Right.
You supernaturally insinuate yourself into the history of the bungalow, and it considers you a personal friend from its past and doesn't mind that you're peeping in on its keyholes.
I cut this door. I cut the tree down that made this door, so no. If I'm seeing the other two like
Caress
coming
its
my
panels
direction.
and a single tear falls.
Oh. Yeah, I will leave the stoop of the Nod bungalow.
Okay.
and head down and intercept Brad first.
Cool. Please tell me how this interaction goes.
I'll walk up, and I've still got the tray, and I've still got several full drinks on it.
Mhm.
So before she says anything, I go, "Oh, thank you. Take a drink."
Give her a little pinch on the ass. Move on.
I won't go that far.
I just kind
30
of stare at him. I'm like, I'll lean in and kind of like move the tray to the side and step a little bit closer. Shall we go rescue Travis?
Kind of look over. One of these days, you're gonna have to show me how you do that trick.
One of these days, I might. And then I'll walk towards to go get Travis as well.
I down the drink and take another one off her tray as she's walking.
I will hold the tray further away from him from this point forward.
It is no problem making your way to Travis, except you have to, elbow Aunt Ruth out of the way, who has kind of latched on to his non-cane arm and has decided that she needed a date for this event anyway.
Travis plays along with all of that. He whatever will keep him looking like he's supposed to be here, he figures is better than people pointing at him saying, "Why is this freak here?"
Mm-hmm.
You think the party has kind of progressed to the point of
Acceptance.
people not giving a shit? Yeah.
Yeah.
Acceptance is a much nicer way of putting that than I chose to.
I am watching for Saida is my primary thing.
All right. Let's see. Yeah. Nothing obvious there. Why don't, though, as you're looking around, I won't even make you roll for this. As you are looking about, you are seeing these people dancing, and some of them are holding hands and like going around in a little circle and other things. And you look askance at this party, and it's occurring to you. This is and it's become clear that this is a wedding. Like that is the purpose of this. And now that you've been here for a second, you've kind of had to look around. You've kind of identified the bride and groom and kind of the customs of the celebration are entirely different from back home. But that's kind of the thing, and that's why love is in the air and it's on the mind of all these relatives and whatnot. And there's the pile of gifts over there. You're watching these people wheel about, and their faces will be to you, and then they won't be, and their faces will be to you, and then they won't be. And you catch a glimpse, you could swear for a moment, of faces that you recognize. Neither of which you have seen in a while, but one of which you have not seen in quite some time. You see a well-dressed young American gentleman. He has a mustache, but he had nothing to hide at the time. In the white suit he wore on his wedding day. And the woman he loved, the Pickle Baroness, who had so little in common, but you could have sworn in that kind of carousel of faces, for a moment, you saw Travis not Travis, pardon. You saw your old friend as you had seen him years ago, Everett Abernathy.
And his wife Josephine.
And then the figures turn, and they're not who you thought. They're no one you recognize, who have no physical similarity whatsoever. the friends you knew. But I would like you to make a sanity roll, please.
Yep. As my brain is making the sanity roll, I'm shakily taking out a cigarette and lighting it.
And you wonder to yourself, was that the last wedding I went to? Has it been that long? Do I know so few people?
That sounds like Travis. Sanity roll. I made it pretty handily.
No sanity loss for you. You dismiss it. That was some trick of your mind, or
Jet lag.
this your first Mediterranean cigarettes since the war. Something sparked that, but you dismiss it as easily as it occurs. Meanwhile, there's Brad coming to you with some serving girl leading him. Go ahead and say what you were going to.
I was just going to say that in Cthulhu terms, what I would do is I reach in my pocket and find my treasured possession, which is that lighter, and I just am probably absently sort of clicking it open and shut, and yeah, that kind of thing. Unconsciously trying to get my sanity back that I didn't even lose, you know.
As you flip open the lighter, Aunt Ruth leans in and lights a cigarette on it.
Fine.
Just as Hannah and Brad are arriving, or, you know, Hannah and Brad.
Do I notice?
Do we need to go through the go round of me not knowing who Hannah is?
No, it's y'all. It is revealed as soon as Hannah deems convenient.
I think it is wonderful that purely accidentally she has the ability to disguise herself, and I have the ability to perceive things beyond the norm. It's very complimentary.
It is.
Where's my girlfriend? I say.
I'll kind of lean in.
Kind of loosens her grip on your arm.
Well, I first introduce Brad and Hannah to Aunt Ruth without giving their names. I just give the people I've met's names so that they will accept them, and we can stand here inconspicuously for another 3 minutes.
There you
go. I'll kind of politely wave and like offer the tray to everyone else, but I'll kind of use that as a barrier to push the other people away for a second and like lean up to Travis and say, let's talk off to the side. I have some interesting news.
Do we need to be moving? Do we need to be going somewhere other than this hotel immediately? Should we be talking in a car?
Not yet.
Okay. All right. Well, I've got a new room. We can start slowly walking in that direction if you want to, if you're off duty soon.
So is the bungalow, like, is the door still kind of visible from where we are?
Yeah, it is. I will put a small effort into describing this. So you're basically in an adjoining courtyard to the main, like, presentable, visible. This is its own little event space, and it's surrounded by a couple of buildings that you imagine could be, like, rented out, like, go ahead and start the honeymoon after the wedding ceremony is over kind of thing. But as long as you are in the courtyard, it is inescapably within view.
Okay. I just want to pull them over to the side of the courtyard for now. Like, out of the crowd of people, like maybe behind a pillar of some kind where we can kind of talk amongst ourselves and probably not be overheard. Maybe like the smoking area, you know, whatever. But where that door is still in view, and I'm kind of trying to keep it in my peripheral to see if anybody comes out.
Heard.
Once we get over there, I will kind of like drop the act a little bit and like take one of the drinks from the tray and start drinking it. So, I saw that woman, Saida, leave her room, and I followed her here to to that door, and I'll point over to the building. As far as I know, she's still inside.
Is that right?
As far as I'm aware. But she was talking to... I don't know if she was talking to somebody or something. My guess would be on the latter.
Great.
But something about someone being thrown off the trail. If I were a betting person, I might think she was talking about Barlow, but I can't say for certain, and I didn't see who she was speaking to. All I did was overhear it. I heard a very strange noise after that, so I decided to leave before I got myself into more trouble.
I don't even ask what the strange noise is. Just keep moving.
Yeah.
So we can wait and follow her wherever she goes. We could wait and go in there once she leaves. We could burst in there while she's in there and quiz her. I might end up in London for another couple of years.
Or we could go to her room and see if we can
Where-
discover who her yellow companion is.
Mike thinks that's a terrible idea. But Travis actually thinks that's the least dangerous idea.
Exactly.
I mean,
Well, if someone is here, kind of keeping an eye out, making sure she doesn't leave that building, that could be the perfect window for me to inspect her room.
yeah, but you got to remember there's a dude in there with poor fashion sense. I mean, maybe he's taking a nap. I don't know. And maybe, I mean, again, you guys keep telling me Barlow's a villain. But if she wants to stop Barlow, if you're right that that's who she's talking about, then he's not the worst villain here.
No.
I just don't see Barlow being competent enough to really be an associate of hers. More like a tool.
He is a tool.
I just don't see him being a mastermind in this whatever operation is happening, you know? Now, again, that's just a guess. I don't know exactly who she was talking about, but there's someone that she's trying to throw off the trail.
I have no problem with you going up and letting yourself into her room. I figure there's 6 different ways you can do it.
Mm-hmm.
One or both of us can hang out in the hall or in the room next door. If you call for help, you'll get it. One of us could hang out down here to see if she's leaving and try to give you a heads up before she comes walking in on your backside. Like, this is your operation if you're the one going in. So how do you want us to play it?
What do you mean? So you got the room next door?
Literally,
Like you have the key to it?
Yes.
Okay. Well, if you have the room next door, if someone is just kind of keeping an eye on the hallway, well, we'll probably be fine. We do know where she's not, and it's not in that room. So now might be the moment if we're gonna do this.
Okay. I got no problem with that.
Okay.
I've got my cane and a revolver is what I imagine. I doubt if I'm walking around with much more.
Yeah, I mean, I've already got like my staff disguise on right now too, so might have some plausible deniability if I do get caught.
You can just do the room service. Room service. I come in now? No, go away. I'm coming in.
Sorry, I don't speak English.
I'm going back to early episodes of Family Guy as you say that.
Yeah, well, that's what I was doing actually.
Mm-hmm.
You know how that turns
Yeah.
out. I won't finish that scene, but it's one of my favorites.
I come in.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm happy with that plan.
Okay, let's go, I guess.
All right.
All
So, recap wise, the plan is to go to the newly rented room and then have someone watch the hall and then the balcony kind of encircling.
Mhm.
There's a word for a balcony encircling a courtyard, and I knew it once, but I don't know it now. but someone's watching.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, and then someone's gonna go knock on the door.
I don't think she's going to knock.
Okay.
I wasn't gonna knock.
I think she's going to use her pass key because
Hi,
she's there to
Steve.
clean the
Yeah.
room.
Steve has joined us just in time for the Family Guy references. Welcome, Steve.
That's exactly it. Yeah, he does remember it. I join you.
I get
What?
involved.
No,
I get involved with lady.
that's the scene.
I'm going to follow Hannah to the door, leaving Travis to watch the hallway. And I'm going to keep one hand on my revolver as she works the door.
It is incredibly easy, Travis, to look nonchalant, looking over a beautiful courtyard with beautiful tourists and a nice fountain and this lush greenery, and just enjoy your cigarette and blend. Like you are one of 15 people doing it at this moment. You know,
I still have to kind of hide the fact that I'm distinguishable in silhouette. So I'll sit probably or lean or make sure I'm in shadow. But yeah, I'll be on the balcony watching to see if what's her name, Saida, makes her way out of the little hut, and Brad's watching the hall.
okay.
Is it called a veranda? Sorry, the balcony.
Maybe.
I'm trying to think of the word.
Veranda
Anyways.
also occurred to me, and I feel like it's different.
It feels
but
off.
I don't know. I am educated on a variety of subjects poorly, and I am not at all educated on a much greater variety of subjects. All right. Travis watching the Knot Bungalow, Brad in the hall, Hannah at the door. Have I got that?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yes.
Okay. Hannah, this is going to be a fun one. You approach the door.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to know what you do.
Well, first I want to look at it.
It's a door.
Yeah, okay. What kind of locking mechanism does it have?
There is a handle, and a knob, and beneath the knob is a built-in lock.
Okay. All right. Well, I've got some tools.
You know, this is before punch cards and key cards and scanners and things. It would require a key or key equivalent.
Yeah. Okay.
Aldrin, hold on to that for me.
I have ditched the serving tray, but have retained the clothing disguise that I donned earlier as a member of the staff. I will kind of try to discreetly lean up against the door in case anyone does happen to look up this way, because people can see up here. And I will try to listen and see if I hear anything inside before I start picking the lock.
Okay. In the good action movie sense of things, we will proceed. Rob is wondering the circumstances in which anyone could lean up against a hotel room door innocently.
Blending into the shadows.
What I will say is, I'd like you to roll your stealth, and I'm gonna need it to be a hard success. Meanwhile, Brad, where have you situated yourself? Are you how far are you from Hannah? I think is the main thing I want to know.
I'm off to the side of the door, maybe by about 4 or 5 feet, also leaning inconspicuously.
Okay,
with
so
one hand
you're
with one hand in my
there.
pocket.
You're not
I'm there. Yeah.
You're not an inconspicuous distance away smoking a cigarette. You are present.
No, because we know that there may be somebody in here, and I want to be prepared to act if necessary.
Okay. Knowing that, does it need to be harder than hard? No, it's just hard. All right, you're there, Brad. Hannah, how'd the roll go?
I rolled a 3.
Wow.
That is
Nice.
that's an extreme success.
I should hope so.
Yeah.
Damn. So casually as you like, you shove those lockpicks into the door and start fiddling and realize it is not locked.
I think you still get a check mark.
You still get a check mark. Yeah.
I should say so.
Okay.
But you were really inconspicuous finding out that it's not locked.
Really inconspicuous. Okay. Well, I'll kind of look at Brad for a second and kind of give him like a stay back a little bit, and I'll open the door.
All right. Inside is a room not too dissimilar from the one you are familiar with. There's a very short hallway and it opens into a large common area with rooms off to the side and a small kind of kitchenette. The center of the room is actually slightly inset into the floor. It's just kind of a walkway around kind of an indented space in the floor where you can kind of walk down and sit, and the floor is almost on level with kind of a bench or a seating area made out of the same material as the floor, with lots of cushions strewn around and a little unlit brazier that, you know, maybe it's used for cooking or incense or something, just a little bit of heat in the middle of the room. And there's a figure inside the room. Next to the figure are yards and yards of this rich golden fabric. The figure next to them is quite tall. Right up there with Travis. If not a couple of inches one way or the other. Hard to tell, as he's seated, reclined, across this little indented area in the center of the room. He's dressed kind of in keeping with fashion of the day, but not American fashion, and definitely not Palestinian fashion. Slightly British, you would think, in how you've been cultured and trained in the different ways of the world through your craft. The most remarkable thing about the figure is the color of his skin. It is darker, frankly darker than anyone you've ever seen, and not just in a pigmentation sort of way. From the crown of his head, which is hairless, by the way, the tips of his fingers, his skin is black, a purplish black, like a bruise. Almost. Offset entirely by the whiteness at his eyes and the whiteness of the teeth as he smiles, taking a half-burned cigar away from his lips, saying, "Come in. I've been waiting."
Oh. Okay. Mm-hmm. I'll take a cup. Well, am I still like in the doorway? How far have I come into this room?
That's
Can
up
I
to
still
you.
lean my head out? Oh gosh. Okay. All right. I'll take a couple of steps further into the room. He's already seen me.
And your friend.
But I'll leave the door open. Oh, okay.
Do I
I will-
hear this from where I'm standing?
If you are listening, it is not being whispered.
I am.
Yeah.
I don't hesitate. I round the corner.
Shut the door, if you would.
Now Travis is in the other room, right?
Travis is down near the courtyard, keeping an eye on the not
Oh, okay.
bungalow. Is my
I'm gonna close the
understanding.
door, but
Oh wait, Mike, I
Make
can't
sure-
hear you.
Sorry, I was imagining I was on the balcony of our room
Oh, beg
looking
pardon.
down.
Okay.
Because we saw her from below. Well, I didn't, but they did. So I figured I could reverse
Yeah.
it, be up there. My idea was to have the bird's eye view. That's what I was talking about. I didn't want too much of a
I
silhouette and all that.
All right, I more fully understand now. That is possible from your new room.
That's what I meant.
Yeah, you will not be within earshot of this, but you are not physically far from it.
Yeah, exactly. If I could walk through the wall, I would be very close.
Yes.
I am evaluating what the sort of balcony to balcony situation is and that kind of thing.
So
gap between them is, that kind of
there is a gap, but it's none of you would have difficulty crossing it. Based on how the numbering system works in this particular hotel, you are actually 2 balconies from the room in question, because you asked for 326, I believe.
Yeah, I figured evens were on one side and odds were on the other, so
Well,
I figured I was getting next door.
There is no, and that's probably something that Travis would have assumed as well, but since the courtyard is one side, it's sequential, not odds and evens.
That's fine. It doesn't matter.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there's an empty balcony
I would have
between you
figured
and them,
that out, but it doesn't matter at this point.
Yeah, you are quite physically close. You are within 20 feet of the far balcony.
Yeah, my intention previously, it
Was
doesn't
to
matter
share a
now,
wall.
but was to share a wall so I could listen, yeah.
Yeah.
Or so I could literally cut a hole in it and go in there when they weren't there. Okay, that's fine. Well, I'm evaluating what it takes to get over there, but I don't know there's any trouble.
Yeah.
Especially as far away as I am.
I was gonna say I'll close the door loud enough to where he could hear it without like actually slamming it, but I don't think that's possible with where he's at.
Perhaps not.
He's pretty paranoid. If he notices both of us gone at some point, he'll probably come. I'll walk in and close the door. Or close the door after Brad. I assume he's walked ahead of me at this point.
Now, how should we address one another? Vargas, Xavier, Cooper. You still go by Ellie to some?
Very few.
I want us to be comfortable. What would you prefer?
Hannah's fine.
Ah,
And what would
Well.
you prefer?
well, if we're not going by our real names, then you... Perhaps then Nadir is best.
And if we are going by our real names?
We don't seem to be now, do we?
Ellie's fine, if that's what you would prefer.
I would prefer that you weren't here at all. But you are. To what end, I wonder? Does it have to do with the treasure hunter? Hmm? Are you following my dear Saida? Your motivations are what is unclear to me. So many things I know about this world, and yet, why of you mortals? escapes me.
It's not the treasure hunter. It's not your pet. It's the treasure. It's something that doesn't belong to him or you, I don't suspect.
Xavier. I always liked that. Great men
Thank you.
have
It
worn
was my
it
father's.
before you have. Great men may wear it after. Not for long, of course, but still. You know. I'm sure you do, that the treasure is not in the item. As the adventurous Barlow suspects, it is what it represents. It's what it contains. You are interesting. Not singularly so, but interesting nonetheless. You know there are much more direct means to achieve your ends, and yet you do not take them. Again, I ask, why?
Because
I'm sorry. I was talking to him.
I was sure he was going to say the men are talking.
right?
We'll come to
You said it.
in
You
due
said it
time.
yourself. You said it yourself. It's what it contains.
You don't fear
There are
it,
things.
do you?
No. There are things I need to know.
Why then do you scrounge for scraps, for clippings, for footnotes? We could have a conversation, you and I. I could teach you things never pinned down by the hand of man. And this is the avenue you pursue.
Mentors, teachers, they're problematic. You only get one direction. I prefer information that doesn't have a string attached to it.
You are still traveling in one direction, Xavier. I would change it and spare your life.
Spare my life.
A fool hastens to his own destruction. Solomon wrote that.
You know what a fool is?
I'm afraid. I
The
do.
wisest person in the court. Meanwhile, my hand's kind of trembling on the trigger of my revolver I haven't quite pulled out yet.
A clever idiom in your circles. I would contend, if it is true, you have sought out the wrong court. Meanwhile, the woman who pretends, being so brief and insubstantial as it is, was insufficient. And so we falsify everything about ourselves until we question ourselves if what remains is true. We lick and taste at true power without biting. And as he says that, those white teeth flash. Unlike Mr. Xavier, you have had experience. You have touched what other people imagine. What many I have personally met would have longed to see. And you spend your time denying and avoiding and escaping. You do not walk the path of the other two. One would destroy, one would seek out, and you would avoid such a waste. You deny yourself. What can you accept of the rest of the world?
The absolute facts.
The absolute. You would cling to the truth that you imagine. I do not deal absolutes. When you cease reaching for what is not there, you find the freedom you pretend to have found.
I will admit there are very few absolute truths. Perhaps none. But there are some that get very, very close. One of those is that these things, you, I assume, don't belong here. And as I am one of the unfortunate fools who lives in this world, I would like to protect it. From you.
The wide world does not care for what you would like. Nor does it care what I would like. Or Xavier, or Saida, or Travis Cole, 2 walls away, listening desperately for any sign. It is an uncaring, unfeeling universe of universes outside this room. You protest too much in that you protest at all. It is as feeble as an ant forcing itself against a hurricane. Why not just enjoy the brief life that has been given to you? Put aside these aspirations and curiosity. Meanwhile, perhaps we can teach Mr. Xavier to appreciate the hurricane.
If I learned one thing about being in the presence of Mr. Brad Xavier, is that he doesn't learn anything that he doesn't wish to learn. That being said, you're only proving my point. Choice is just an illusion. I think we would agree on that. Some things happen, some things don't. Some things we have control over, most we don't. But if there's one thing to follow, it is what you know to be true. Now, that blind faith does lead a lot of people down very bad paths. But you can't deny what I personally have seen with my own eyes. That's all I know. That's all I follow.
Well, I don't mean to persuade you. Perhaps only to offer a less narrow view. I will
Think you
watch.
ever told us your name?
I did. Or what you might call me.
Mm-hmm.
I will watch. I will wonder. I will ponder the why. I have time.
While we're watching, do I recognize the name Nadir?
It seems...
It sounds familiar.
It
Not
does.
gonna lie.
I would say you can roll your occult. Sure. I would consider this...
Mhm.
I would consider this hard. Or, yeah, I would consider this hard.
Well, with a 22, that works.
Okay. It's a bit of a stretch. It was actually a translation that you were reading, and you were having to cross-reference things. But looking at this person, looking at the size of him, the shape of him, the color of him, more than anything. Nadir means harbinger, and it is a name, but it's not meant as a name. Much like Saida, it is a title. The name fits the description. The visage matches. The black man. The black pharaoh. The one who comes before, the messenger, the harbinger, the predecessor of the gods, the true gods, the old gods. The one of 999 forms. Nyarlathotep. Some aspect or messenger of. The garb. Confusing, perhaps a joke. But if so, you are in the presence of something impossibly, unfathomably old and powerful, on a scale that even you, fear to imagine.
I relax my hand, knowing that I'm not going to pull my gun on this thing.
I have a question for him. Kind of like peeking out from behind Brand. I'm just curious. And this is speaking directly to him now. You know our names. You know why we're here. You know where we are. You seem as close to omnipotent as someone could possibly be. Or some creature could possibly be. I imagine watching us do whatever we're doing is like watching insects to you. Perhaps we're in a farm. Perhaps we're not. You said the one thing you don't understand is why we do what we do. And I think right now the same is true for us. I don't understand why. Why are you just letting us do this? Why are you telling us this? What's in this for you?
He leans forward and rests his elbows on his knees. And in that motion, he seems to fill the room. Not in a physical way, but just those few inches that he seems to have traveled, he seems to have eclipsed your vision. And he whispers, "Have you watched insects, Ellie? Why do you watch them? Is it not interesting how they move? How they spend their time? What aims they seek to achieve, knowing that with the slightest amount of pressure from your finger, you could end everything they hope to achieve?" Why do I watch? It quells, if for a millennia, the incessant boredom of immortality.
With my eyes slightly feverish, I whisper in a little bit of a hoarse voice, "Give me the book and I'll give you something worth watching."
Still so narrow-minded.
I'm an insect after all.
You converse with the cosmos, and you ask for a grain of sand. My hopes in you were perhaps misplaced.
Then what could it hurt?
I will not lift my finger. Scurry. Try and forestall. Rage against the hurricane. Amuse me. He leans back and reclines again, masquerading once again as a overly tall, peculiarly shaded, normal man.
Hmm. Oh gosh.
I would like,
It's hard to just be like, okay, bye.
now that the exposition is over, I would like you both to make a sanity roll, please.
I
Yeah,
knew that was
that's-
coming.
That's fair. Perfectly fair.
Ooh, I got a 12. I mean, I didn't need much.
Just realized I was muted. I'm imagining the movie of this, and while all this really serious stuff and these extreme, like, Spielberg close-ups are going on and sweat dripping down their temples, every so often it flips back to Travis, and he's out on the balcony, and at one point he's, like, balancing an orange on his nose because he's gotten bored. And then he, like, sees his reflection in the patio door, and he, like, pulls his gun to, like, see, like, yeah, that's what I thought. And he puts his gun up, and then pulls it again. And I, at one point it cuts back to him, and I've got 2 cigarettes up my nostrils.
Hannah's over there like, I thought Travis would have come in here by now. I don't.
I was just waiting on a gun to go off, and then I'd have been there.
Yeah. There's literally no point.
Remember, no
So
pushing and no luck on sanity rolls. So how did we do?
Oh, I made my sanity roll.
Awesome.
I'm guessing I lose some sanity anyway, but
Since he has not left his human form, you are actually okay. You just understand the implications of what he actually is. Hannah, the stakes are lower for you because Brad has not expressed to you who you are actually talking to and what the implications of that are. But I still need you to make the roll.
Yeah, I still failed.
Failed. Okay.
Yeah, quite dramatically, I'm afraid.
There is, though I have done a poor job of perhaps describing it, there is a weight to being in the presence of this individual. It is almost tangible in the air. It almost chokes you at times. I need you to roll a D10, please.
Six.
You're going to take 6 points of damage to your sanity.
Okay.
just
now, that
for
is your first loss
informational.
for the day, so you're probably not in danger of going insane in an instant. Let's look
No,
at...
I'm not over my threshold.
Okay.
Or my instant, yeah.
Let's look at the handy-dandy sanity loss sheets. Did you lose any sanity? Yes. You do not, I think, have an underlying insanity. You have a mania, which is not
Well,
an
that's an
underlying insanity. Is that?
It is. That's
Okay.
an indefinite insanity. That's why.
Yeah.
That's why you try to get rid of them when you can.
Yeah.
That's an indefinite.
Otherwise,
yeah.
every time you lose sanity, you're gonna have a bout of madness.
Okay, I need you to make an intelligence roll, please. Then,
Okay.
Hannah. This thing is referring to you as mortals. It's calling itself immortal. It doesn't look quite right. It can dominate your vision.
I have a feeling I should have failed this if I wanted a good
That's right. You
outcome.
want to fail this intelligence roll. You want to be so stupid you don't know how screwed you are.
Yeah, unfortunately I rolled a 4, which is an extreme success.
Hoo-hoo!
Oh, it is 8:00, and I just popped onto my office hour, and I already have someone waiting.
Okay. Do you mind leaving the camera on, just so it doesn't break the stream?
Sure.
And we'll wrap things
No
up
worries.
quickly. But thank you for playing, man. You can mute yourself or mute yourself in Discord
I'll
or
go
do
ahead.
what you please.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and mute myself here.
Okay, and we'll wrap up and get out of here shortly.
Enjoyed it, Brian. See you
Thank you,
later.
man. All right, so success on an intelligence roll when you lost that much sanity means that you are temporarily insane. Roll another d10.
Six again.
6 again. So for, 6 hours. Check box on character sheet, it says.
Yeah, just so that we remember for those 6 hours that
Did I have a temporary insanity?
Yeah. If
Okay.
I figure out that you're acting weird, I can cut the time in half with a psychoanalysis roll.
Okay.
And if we can just get you to lie down in a bed and go to sleep or something, then Rob can just say it goes away.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's find.
Am I going to propose to the
Fine.
infinite shadow monster?
I was wondering if that had come from the chat. Okie dokie. So, we have insane insight, it says. That's in the pulp, isn't it, Mike?
Yes, insane insight. I figured I would have put the page number on here, but it's going to be around the late 70s, 76, 77, 78, somewhere in there.
Yeah, I gotcha.
Oh, fine. Okay.
That's the augmented skills. That's insane talents.
Oh, yeah, I've got a thing here. It says see note below. Um, stupid
Just so we can end on
PDF.
something fun. I see a lot about augmented skills, but not about insights.
Sorry, I've gone and screwed up my zoom on my spreadsheet. I can't figure out how to fix it. Let me just close it. Okay, here we go.
It's riveting streaming material, I know. This is the fun of playing games on stream, is you get to see all of it. Here it is. It's on 169 of the regular handbook. When an investigator goes insane, he or she has a momentary insane insight.
Oh yeah, that's it.
This
Yeah.
moment of clarity provides a clue or action that might benefit the investigator immediately or at some later stage. The keeper should determine an appropriate insight relevant to the plot of the scenario.
On my PDF, it's in that yellow box that says other sanity-related rules. Insane insight. When the investigator gains a temp or an indefinite insanity, the keeper may provide them with a clue or action that benefits them immediately or at a later time. Should, of course, be relevant to the plot or scenario.
All right. And with your temporary insanity, you are already treating people so sweetly.
Yep. And I may have a lingering mild phobia of fire.
I think he let you go.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, you're free.
Well,
of
I wasn't
that,
sure
no
if it was
worries.
like still hanging around.
Nah, we traded it for your new thing.
Oh, my uncharacteristic kindness.
All right. So, something to note, and this is purely for you. If you encounter Nadir again, as he is now, you do not have to make a sanity roll for me. And I'm going to let Brad know the same thing. Unless there is some variable, you were okay.
Okay.
That said, you have this epiphany. You're having this conversation. You kind of glance over to Brad, and Brad is taking his hand off his gun, and his hands are a little bit raised in kind of a do no harm kind of situation, which is not Brad's normal state of being. Not quite sure what that means, but you put two and two together that you are talking to something of consequence in a way that redefines consequence in the world of Ellie Walker. This is not a Loigor. This is not a Francis Boyle. This is not a zombie in the state of Georgia written about in a book that you saved from a fire. This is something beyond that. And this thing is watching a play, as it were, the play of this world, all of the different actors and actresses of it, and amused by it, understanding it, and what you believe you realize is the factors here. Saida was in the company of this, whoever he is, of Nadir. And there's an association there, and there is likely an alignment of aims, of goals. And then there is the Alvin Barlow of the world, someone you heard Saida address as the opposition, as the enemy, as someone to be stopped, prevented, or waylaid. There is you and Travis and Brad. Somewhat undecided, perhaps, or even in some cases, the way that he's talking about Brad right now, divided in your aims. Whatever you do or don't feel about Alvin Barlow, whatever this thing is, and whatever it wants, Barlow is an enemy of it. And whether the enemy of your enemy is a friend, or whether Barlow is the enemy and you have just made a new friend, I suppose is up to you. Travis, before we go,
Mm-hmm.
you are situated on the balcony, and it has been several minutes, and you have jointly ransacked a building with Hannah, and you know that that endeavor can take a little time, or it can be as brief or meticulous as the situation calls for. It's not particularly alarming that...
I figure Brad would say, hey, there's
Yeah.
trouble if there was trouble.
Or fire a gun, or throw someone off a balcony,
Or just tell me he's, going into the room and closing the door.
Yeah. And none of those things have happened, so everything is probably okay. In the meantime, it's been a couple of minutes, and you're on cigarette number 2. And you are looking down at the bungalow, and you see the door open. And Saida walk out onto the stoop, and survey her surroundings, and smooth her dress. And as she is casting about, are you, other than just being innocuous, are you trying to disguise yourself from her view at all?
Yeah, I mean, that's what I called before that, as soon as I see it's her, I would step back into the shadow if there is one, if there's an overhang to the balcony or, or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm not going to dive inside because I want to see if somebody's with her and if she goes somewhere, but trying to mask the fact that I'm 6.5 feet tall and staring at her,
You watch her make her way kind of around the outskirts of the party, and she's making her way towards the main courtyard. And she's about to pass from your sight when you and your special eyes notice something else. You notice a figure break away from the party as she kind of passes around the perimeter. And I would like you to roll your perception again. Your spot hidden, I should say. I just need a normal success.
Oh, you got 6.
Oh gosh.
So that's a critical success.
So this party goer, you recognize Aunt Ruth, as a matter of fact. Peels away from the party as Saida passes by. And as she is walking after Saida, just as she is starting to leave your point of vision, she passes behind this pillar. And in stride with Aunt Ruth, on the other side of the pillar, no longer is Aunt Ruth, but another familiar face. One you haven't seen in quite a while. Last you saw her, She had short, dark hair and was captivating everyone at the Hotel Excelsior bar as she walked in and made a discreet passage of a package. You never thought you would see Frances Boyle again. Least of all in this part of the world. Just as she passes into the main courtyard here at the Chic.
That's probably enough to pull me out of the shadow. You know what I mean? Like I'm not naturally stealthy anyway. So, whatever happened to the Ankh? I just say out loud to no one in particular because I don't know. Actually, neither does Mike. Okay. I mean, I'll watch them till I can't see them anymore, and then I'm like, I probably ought to go tell Hannah this.
Well, we will convene all of the cool things that we have learned next time that we meet, which unfortunately won't be for a couple of weeks, because I have to go to C2E2, and Brad is going to Level Up Expo in Vegas, so we're going to take a week off next week. But we will see you in a couple of weeks to pick up with this little story as it is unfolding in the Holy Unholy Land, with faces from the past and new eldritch abominations to make friends with. I'm glad Holdren is having fun in the chat. I like callbacks, man. I swear I've run a whole campaign just so I can make callbacks to it later. I need to find us someone to raid. I didn't mention this entire time, by the way, but anyone who is watching this when it is airing has an opportunity to enter to win our giveaway for the month of April. We're giving away a Talon and Clawed Dungeon Master screen. It's made entirely out of wood. It is a custom job. It is cool as heck. It is heavy as balls, and really a flex on everybody at your table. If you play in person, or if you just like having props for a YouTube set, or to impress friends and family members who like this kind of thing, it is a very cool thing that you could win. All you have to do is give us an email so that we can let you know when you win, and hopefully you do. And you can stay up to date on what the company is up to through our little newsletter, which Sophie works very hard on to make entertaining and appealing. In the meantime, I'm sorry that we lost Brian a little sooner than later, guys, but that is the price we pay to have Brian around and participating in the stream with us. Is he has a real big boy job that requires him to be available in the evenings to teach people who don't know things the things that he knows. While I am finding us someone to raid, Katie and Mike, is there anything going on that the good people should know about? There may not be. I just always want to give you the opportunity. One of these days, something might happen. I don't know.
Just a normal stream on Friday for me. I'll be starting a little bit earlier than usual so that I can probably play some Inscription before we get to the party games later in the night.
Yes.
Inscription is fun.
Right. So around 5 p.m. Central, if you want to hear the song that Frogs has made for my stream, especially for my stream,
I kind of do.
tune in. Because it'll be in the intro, it'll be in the intermissions, and it will also be going on Spotify later with custom album art that I am drawing.
Now that's cool.
So we've got a little collaboration going on. It's really fun. Other than that's it. Just the normal.
Awesome. Well, we will miss hanging out with you guys next week, I promise. I always look forward to this game with these people and with you guys hanging out and watching with us. We're going to go say hi to Total Party Chill. No idea what they're up to, but it says Tabletop RPGs, and that's what we're doing. So surely it's probably fun, right? If you are here and present and raiding over with them, say wheat when you get in. Aldrin tried to say sweet earlier and missed the S, and it really tickled me pink. So just say wheat. And say hi to them. We're going to get out of here. We'll see you guys in a couple of weeks. In case you don't hear it anywhere else this week or next week, just in case we don't see you then, and just in case you don't hear it anywhere until then, please remember that we love you guys. Can't wait to be back with you soon. See you next time!